I personally think it is important to point out that the world is coming to New York. Morsi, the president of Egypt, is coming in. Here's a guy who's a Muslim Brotherhood guy who is really dictating the course of much of the Middle East. The peace accords with Israel are at stake. Israel is freaking out. Benjamin Netanyahu has asked for time. Tomorrow, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad speaks. He is calling for the vaporization. Hear me. The vaporization and the complete destruction of Israel and the West. He is close, months away now, from having a nuclear weapon. This is the Chamberlain moment. But our Neville Chamberlain, our president, is not meeting with any of them. Forget about the Middle East. China is on the verge of war with Japan. Forget about China. Europe is on the verge of war. Europe, when France figures out what Germany is doing, and France and Spain and Italy all go down the same road that Greece has. Greece now, we found, was lying about how bad their debt was. It's double what they thought. They were lying. Europe is on fire. So you have Europe, Asia, the Middle East, all on fire. And how many meetings with world leaders is our president going to have this week? He is in New York City. All of the world leaders are in New York City for the UN. How many meetings is he going to have?
Does that include Whoopi Goldberg? Is she a world leader now?
No.
Joy Behar?
No.
Oh, jeez.
He's having none. Zero.
Mm-hmm.
And when asked about it, Gibbs said he's got a phone. He can call these guys. Yeah, I know. Isn't there something to be said for a face-to-face? He could call into The View. He's going on The View, but he has no time for world leaders at this point. Remember that commercial that Hillary Clinton did? It's 3 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Something's happened in the world. Who gets the phone call? Well, it's not this president. He's not taking that phone call.
He can't take the phone call. He's on The View. He's not going to.
He's raising funds or he's doing whatever. He is choosing to raise funds. He's choosing to be with Beyonce and David Letterman and The View over taking care of what your children are going to deal with. This is critical to understand. This isn't about politics. This isn't about you. It's not about me. It's about our children. Children, will your son or daughter go to war? Will your son or daughter be able to afford any kind of life? Will you be able to afford your vacation? In the last year, just the gas price alone, you now spend almost $10,000. It's like $9,863 more in gas than you did 4 years ago. What could you have paid off or paid down with $10,000? Could you have taken your children to Disney World for $10,000? You just spent it at the gas pump. You say you don't care about Israel. I understand. You don't care about the Middle East. It can all go in a sinkhole. I was there, brother. I was there. I know. Let me speak to you not about geopolitical ramifications. What is the ramification of a war in the Middle East or more unrest in the Middle East at the gas pump? Especially when a guy who puts in as his energy secretary, his stated goal was to make gas between $8 and $10 a gallon. That was his stated goal. And the president's stated goal was your energy prices, to quote, will necessarily skyrocket. You have those two in charge and a war in the region where we get all of our oil. and we have shut down almost all of our oil stuff, what is the price of gas? I hate to boil it down to that, but I think there's a lot of people that just want to know, what does this mean to me? Let's listen to Chris Wallace and Robert Gibbs on some pretty important things, and then we'll tell you, what does it mean to you?
I want to go back to the UN, though, and New York this week. You say that he's got schedules, the foreign leaders have schedules, but the president has blocked out time to appear on The View on Tuesday. So he has time for Whoopi Goldberg, but he doesn't have time for world leaders?
No, Chris, look, the president is going to be actively involved at the UN General Assembly.
He's not meeting with any private leaders. He's
Chris,
giving a speech.
Chris, they have telephones in the White House. Last week he talked to the president of Egypt. He talked to the leader in Libya. We don't need a meeting in Washington just to confer with leaders.
So Wallace tried to pin him down on the Libya because he brought up the Libyan attacks. So Wallace asked him about those.
I specifically, last Sunday, asked Ambassador Rice about the president of Libya, who was then saying it was pre-planned. I specifically asked her about al-Qaeda, which said that it was revenge for the killing of a top al-Qaeda leader. Ms. Rice didn't say, we don't know, I'll get back to you. She said it was a spontaneous attack that was not pre-planned, that spun out of control. She had information at that time, and the information she gave the American people was wrong.
Well, again, Chris, I think you look back at that answer, and she says the answer, she has the information, the answer, based on what she knew at that point. We've learned more, and we're going to continue to learn more. The most important thing is we get to the bottom of the intelligence and what happened and what may or may not have caused this incident.
Let me go back, if I can, though, to the bad information that was being put out. You can say in good faith, but the bad information that was being put out by the Obama administration. Here's what your successor, as press secretary, Jake Carney, said last week. Let's listen.
We have no information to suggest that it was a pre-planned attack. The unrest we've seen around the region has been in reaction to a video that
Stop. I'm going to take a break, and we're going to come back. This is so critical in conjunction with the project. When you see the project, when you understand what that is, the Muslim Brotherhood, their document called the project, the way to take over the West and destroy it from the inside. When you understand this, I don't care if you call the president naive, he didn't know, whatever, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Only the truth matters. The reason why they're pushing this film, whether they knew it or not, is because of the project. The Muslim Brotherhood needs an event like this to finally push that last piece of global legislation in and to get it through in the United States. This president is going down this road. More in a second. It's critical. It's critical for your children that you understand what we're facing, and we make this choice with wide open eyes. Thomas Jefferson believed in us. Washington believed in us. All of them. Lincoln did. Reagan did. Kennedy did. People will come to the right conclusion. I still do. But some critical information is being kept away from you, and you need to know it.